Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel for another FPL video, and this time it's the Gameweek 13 preview. With lots of managers on a free hit this week, we're going to be focusing on the best short-term punts, covering the most transferred players, and of course sharing our final team selections. My name's James, and with me as usual to help break it all down is Patrick.
Hi everyone, we know the free hit is a big talking point this week, so we're leading with that. If you're using a chip, or even if you're not, stick around because we've got information to help guide you either way.
For managers who are hitting the button this week, you're looking at 1 week punts, so the main teams to target are Man City, Brentford, Aston Villa and Liverpool, even with their shaky form.
Looking at some of the top picks, all the keepers on this list look like good options, but in defence, Nico O'Reilly looks like the strongest asset this week. If we get early team information and know he starts, he could be the best option available.
In midfield, Shada and Dango look the best picks from Brentford, and owning at least one of them could be great this week up against Burnley. Up front, it's Haaland and Thiago as the best options again. I think you only want 2 strikers on a free hit draft, and those are the best by far this week.
Now, let's take a quick look at the most transferred players this week before we move on to our long-term targets. The most transferred in players so far this week are Thiago and Eze. Eze seems like a real knee-jerk transfer. He's coming off a hat-trick but has a real tough game against Chelsea next.
Looking at who's being sold to make those moves, and Gabriel is top of the list. He's still being moved on this week following his injury. Semenyo being second is a real shock though. I think he'll prove his sellers wrong over the next few weeks, with him being expected to return from injury now.
Now we look ahead to the next few game weeks. On screen you can see the best teams to target are still Man City, Liverpool, Man United and Crystal Palace. Just like last week but in a different order. We'll focus on the players you should be bringing in for the next 3 weeks. Starting with defence, Munoz has been really exciting. He's going to be popular this week because of his consistency and following his 14-pointer last time out.
In midfield, Doku looks the best option. He was rested midweek and should get some good minutes through the great fixtures Man City have coming up. I still really like Gravenberch though. He's Liverpool's second highest scorer, just 3 points behind Salah, and at under 6 million, I think he's well worth considering.
Up front and outside the ever-present frontrunner Haaland, it's Mateta, who's still getting plenty of chances and has a fixture to keep getting returns over this period.
Before we get into the team reveals, let's quickly recap last week, and mine wasn't great. Munoz did the hard work and scored really well with 14 points, but none of my other players scored more than 4. Small red arrow, but not the end of the world. Patrick, you had a big green arrow last week. Tell us about your team.
I scored 47 points last week and got a nice green arrow. Anderson was my starter back with his 10-pointer and Enzo was my other best player with 11 points. Quite surprising that 47 points did so well, but I'm not complaining at all. Now, it's time for the team reveals. James, why don't you start?
So, my free hit will be active for this week. I was quite happy with my team, but don't think there's a better week with my longer term plan, so I've hit the button. I've made quite a few drafts already, and won't be locked in until the deadline, so just to highlight some of the key points. I definitely won't be playing 3 at the back, and I'm not considering starting more than 2 strikers. Haaland and Thiago are locked as my front 2, and Munoz is nailed in defence, but all other spots have potential to change right up to the deadline. I'll be watching for any Man City leaks before then, and building my team around the 2 spots available along with Haaland. How's your team looking, Patrick?
I'm really tempted by the free hit as well to be honest, but I'm standing my ground at the moment. I'm starting Raya in goal. In defence I've got Guehi, Burn and Van de Ven, who all look decent this week. In midfield I'm trusting Semenyo away to Sunderland, even though he's currently one of the most sold players. Saka and Enzo play each other, but could easily grab a return or 2 in this fixture. And last up is Sarr, who has been frustrating lately, but he's definitely due a goal for me by now. I'm playing 3 up front, who all play at home this week. Thiago against Burnley, which couldn't be much better. Mateta against Man United, and Haaland plays Leeds, who is my captain and will be the clear captain choice for most managers.
Yeah, and for anyone out there still holding the triple captainship, this looks like a great opportunity to use it on Haaland.
Okay, before we finish, let me ask you. You and a high percentage of managers have free hit in this game week. What's the reason for that, and do you think it's the best play?
Without having double or blank game weeks to navigate, the free hit chip is more of a luxury play in the first half of the season. Game week 13 and 16 are the popular picks, but in 16 we'll all have 5 extra transfers because of AFCON, so we'll be able to get to a really strong team anyway. I'm looking at bench boosting in game week 16 truthfully, and that's the main reason I'm using it this week. Most teams are set up well on paper at the moment, but if Brentford and Man City score a few goals like we suspect they will, and if Villa keep a clean sheet, then the free hitters will win the game week. There'll probably be a big swing either way, but the triple captainers should see the biggest scores with Haaland.
That's it for our Gameweek 13 preview. Let us know in the comments if you're playing a chip or not this week, and what your transfer dilemmas are.
If you enjoyed the episode or found it useful, give the video a like and subscribe to the channel, it really helps us out.
Yeah, and you can follow us on X at Weekend Fix for last minute tips and advice ahead of the deadline.
Thanks for watching, good luck for Game Week 13, and we'll see you next time.